I was not always very big, in high school or as an undergraduate, but I never remember being bullied. Aside from the normal power play, from senior students trying to exert, their authority over their juniors, and those kind of high school shenanigans. I don't remember being bullied, being scared of anyone actually. But I'm sure that that's not the case for many people. These days there's so many stories, so many news articles, and of people being bullied, people who are being bullied in school, by either their mates or by their seniors, and some of them having to suffer really traumatizing experiences. All right. But I just want to share with you a couple of suggestions, that I think could help you deal better with bullies or manage bullies better. But the first one is basically to stay calm. You don't have to show fear, because fear is where bullies thrive. Bullies thrive in the fact that you're afraid of them, you are scared around them, and those kind of things. So the first thing is to show strength, stay calm, keep an eye contact with the person who is involved or the bully. All right. So stay calm, keep an eye contact, speak firmly. So don't show fear, basically. All right. Don't show fear. Ensure that you're calm. You're looking the person straight in the eye, and you're speaking confidently. That's very important, because if bullies see that you're not an easy prey, you're not easily afraid of them, then you're not an easy prey for them. That's the first suggestion. Stay calm, keep an eye contact, and speak confidently, right? If you want to tell them off confidently. Tell them to, stop whatever they're doing that you're not liking, and say it confidently. Say it like you mean it, all right? Looking them in the eye. Most times, bullies run away from people who they think to be very confident and outspoken and, assertive of themselves. The second thing is to use your support system. All right. So surround yourself with people, friends who have your back. All right. Family members who have your back. And it's important to also let them know about, the experience you're going through, and the persons that are bullying you or the person that is bullying you. Let your support system know. Let people who are close to you know, basically, so that you're not having to suffer alone. And of course, when people know, you have better chance of receiving, more useful advice on how to navigate and survive these kinds of unfortunate incidents. The third thing is to document every encounter. Okay, if you have to use videos, if you have to record, voice record the conversations or encounters you're having with this person, or that you have with this person. All right. So when you see this person coming, I'm sure it might not be very easy to always remember to turn on your camera or to turn on your recording, to put your phone on recording or whatever it is. But the more evidence you have of those encounters or those episodes of bully, the higher your chance of defending yourself and making a case, with the authorities or those who are in authority over the situation or the environment where that bullying is occurring. All right. In this case, we're talking about school. So the more evidence you have, basically, the higher your chance of making a case and getting justice for yourself. Okay. So as much as possible, try to make sure that you are able to document, as many encounters as possible and as vividly as possible. If you cannot use a voice note, or if you cannot get a voice recording or a video recording, then make sure that you have a journal recording. This day, this person met with me, or I encountered this person. This is what we said. This is how it went out. This is how it turned out. And all that. Have a journal. Have a place where you record those encounters, basically, because that is very, very useful, with dates and maybe time as well. The next point is to stay active. All right, try and stay active. This is also very difficult for people who are timid, who are shy, who are introverts. It's very difficult for them to maintain an active circle, of friends or people to easily blend in circles, But it's important that you stay active. It's important that you stay active. If you are somebody who is timid or shy, find your circle. Find a circle that maybe people who have the same interest with you, people who have like minds, people who share certain common traits, or people who you feel comfortable around. Find your circle. Stay active in that circle. Talk more, engage in activities together. Perhaps keep yourself physically active. So that that way you're also building your strength, you're building your confidence, you're building your self-esteem, basically. All right, your self-confidence. So stay active as much as possible. And then finally, the last but not the least, of course, is try to always remove yourself, safely remove yourself from physically tense situations as much as possible. All right. Of course, sometimes bullies are always in your face. They want to push you beyond the wall if there's anything like that. So they give you very little room to remove yourself from those situations. Because they are more or less trying to pin you in a corner. But as much as it's possible, always try to remove yourself safely from those physically tense situations. All right, don't let the situation get so tense that it resorts to physical exchange, or physical abuse. So the moment you see that things are beginning to escalate and become more tense, it's advisable for you to just remove yourself from those situations or those circumstances, those situations, basically, as much as you can. All right. And somebody may ask, what if the person gets physically violent and starts hitting you? What do you do? By all means, if your safety is threatened, then it's okay to defend yourself. It's always okay to defend yourself, even in the court of law, right? You can always defend yourself. But of course, you never have a guarantee as to how that will turn out. That's why it's more advisable to remove yourself from those situations than it is to defend yourself. All right. But if it gets to that point, then don't just sit back and let harm be done to you. All right. But the goal, which you must remember, is not to win the bully. All right. The goal is to protect yourself, to show confidence, and to get away safely from those situations. That's the goal, not to win the bully. So always remember that you're not trying to win the bully, but you're trying to keep yourself safe. And as much as you can, as much as it's possible for you, always try to ensure that is your priority, keeping yourself safe over winning the bully. All right. Hope that you can live your life as fully as you desire, as you deserve, without people bullying you. Until I come your way in the next video. Bye for now.